I cannot teach a student well whom I do not know. Unless I know how his mind works, I do not know why he made the error. He may get the answer on the test wrong, and I can say, Billy, that is an incorrect answer. But I cannot help him learn unless I know why he got the incorrect answer. And I have to know that young man well enough to know if there is a pattern to that error, whether the error he made was simply a chance goof, or whether, in fact, he fundamentally misunderstood the idea. I cannot teach a person I do not know well. Question: how many students can I, the teacher, have in order that I know each one without exception, well enough to know how that child's mind and heart work? And the answer is not 175. What I'm talking is, how many human beings do I know at once well enough in order to teach them well? People say, well, you can't do that. My response is, I have to do that. You want rigorous education, you have to have the conditions of learning for the kids and the conditions for teaching of the teachers such that each child's individual development is understood. People say, how do you do this within existing budgets? The coalition assumes the budgets aren't going to change. It would be lovely to triple the teaching force. It's not going to happen. So if you say one compromise in the school we are not going to make any more, which is that most kids remain essentially anonymous, we're going to have to give up other things in order to get those numbers down. The coalition says no more than 80. Arbitrary. Most of my friends since then, including my veteran teacher wife, laughs, says 80, 60, it's 50, it's 40. And what some coalition schools have been able to pull off is the reallocation of how adults spend their time, so that no teacher has to get to know well, as the lead person, more than 40, 45, or 50 kids. This means that all of us have to teach across subjects in teams. I'm the history person. There is a math person, a science person, an English person. While I am the lead person in history, I feel an obligation as a member of that team to the quality of the work in those other subjects. There's no way you can get those loads down unless you break up the individual teacher in his or her own castle and teach by teams. And I have to teach kids long enough, block periods. And I have to be able to talk about those youngsters with other adults. I don't understand why this kid seems to be acting the way she is. How can I make sense of her work? What lies behind her work? I may not get this kid. I may not understand this kid. My colleague, who also has her and knows her well, can say, well, you know, Sarah does it this way, it appears, in my art work. Why don't you in mathematics think about that? I cannot know kids well unless I can talk with other teachers on a daily basis, where the talk about youngsters is routine, is that you don't have to set up a meeting after school of the youngsters' teachers. You're all there as a team. Now, it is not enough just to know about the youngster. You have to have the authority to adjust the program to accommodate that youngster. If she needs to move this way while the syllabus goes that way, the team has to have the right to go this way. Because the point is to do right by Sarah, not right by the curriculum. Which means that authority for the control of time and material and the means of assessment of that child, serious assessment, have to be in the hands of the people who know that child and furthermore the regimen of the school has to be simple and flexible enough so that that team can adjust on the basis of their particular kids. It takes enormous flexibility. Flexibility only comes with very simple schools. That's why we use the word essential. You can't do everything we'd love to do. There's too much wonderful things to be done. We can't do them all. What are the few that are most important for those young women and young men that we are responsible for? What is the heart of it? What is most essential? And let's focus on those in a way that gives us the maneuverability, the pedagogical maneuverability, to attend respectfully to the differences among them. Well, you can imagine the ramifications of this are immense. You have to stop categorizing children by their ages. You know, you're 14 years old, therefore. You're 16 years old, therefore. You and I know from our own children that children do not develop in a nice, even way. And if it's true of your and my biological children, it's likely to be true of other people's biological children. The notion of age grading is one of the sort of most ruthless grips of the factory mentality in the functioning of schools. Children learn at their own pace. It's inconvenient. It's terribly inconvenient. It would be nice if all 14-year-olds were predictable 14, but they aren't. So you accommodate to it.